What's good, everybody? It's Joel, and I'll come back at you with another video. So this video, the topic for this one is talking about setting the intention for the day. And what I mean by that is essentially trying to plan out your day in advance, like just believing that your day is going to head in a certain direction. And in this case, right, positive direction, right? Like that you want to have a great day. So a lot of times, and we've all experienced this, where we can start off the day on the wrong foot. Like, say you overslept and you're late for class or work, and then you're rushing out of your place and you forget your wallet, or you forget, I don't know, something that's important that you probably needed, maybe an electronic device, your phone, who knows, right? You may forget something, and then you're running, and then you have a drink, say you buy yourself a coffee or something, and then the coffee somehow spills on you, and it just feels like you just can't catch a break on those days where everything just seems like it's just going wrong, right? A lot of times that's because of the intention that we set at the very beginning. And if it feels as though we wake up on the day and things aren't going well for us, and we sort of feel as though we're experiencing chaotic energy, then that's what is going to be brought into your life in those moments. And that's why, like, there can be those days where it just feels like nothing is going well for you, that is just one unfortunate incident after another just keeps on occurring. Um and a lot of times people just aren't aware of that. And so that's what's super key when it comes to setting the intention for the day. It's important to also have awareness, and by awareness I mean just like being tuned into the present moment, right? Being aware of how you feel and how you're doing in that given moment, because that plays a big part in creating the events that are going to unfold for you, later that day or in the coming days and things like that. And I just want to share this story with you guys. So this happened literally this past weekend. So Saturday morning, um, I woke up feeling good. I woke up feeling excited just because the night prior, on that Friday, I went out with family. We went to an event, essentially like an all white boat party, and it was good food, good music. We just had a good time. It was just like a nice little, I guess you could say, escape from the city, even though we were still like on a boat the whole time, like essentially partying and eating. Um, it was just different because I haven't gone on a boat party in God knows how long, and just experienced that with my family. Like, that was just a lot of fun. And so that happened Friday night, and then Saturday morning, I agreed with a friend to go on a hike. And I don't really think I've ever gone on like an actual hike. Like, it wasn't like we brought like camping bags and like all all the materials and everything that you need, right? It was just like a bunch of guys went up to a park like an hour upstate. So I live in New York City, so we drove up like an hour north upstate to like one of the nearby lakes. And essentially it was to do a hike like through a trail, which I didn't even know the distance or anything about the trail. I just knew, like, okay, let me pack bug spray and sunscreen, and pack like water and some snacks and whatnot. So we went, and yeah, I've just never done a trail before, so it was like a hike. So I just came with, like, some shorts, like just comfortable clothing, and like some running shoes. And at the start of it, there was like a lot of guys. I want to say it was probably at least like a dozen guys there, and I probably only knew like a handful. The rest I met, and it was a good time because we got out in nature. It was about a 5 mile hike, which I was not even aware of the distance. Right, I've never like done this before. And it was like all these insane terrains. Like, I'm talking about, we was like walking through foliage, like pushing branches and leaves to the side and stuff, and plants to just make our way through. And then we were pretty much going up damn near a mountain. Like, I mean, it was like a hill. It wasn't like an actual like mountain that we were climbing, but it was like big hills we were going up, hills that we were going down. We were jumping from rock to rock, jumping over some few like little rivers, and walking on tree branches. So it was like, I've just never done a path like that. I honestly felt like, to a degree, we were kind of playing like parkour, which was like absolutely insane. It was a lot of fun. And like even just prior to this whole day starting, I set the intention that today was gonna be a good day because I was excited for it. You know, it was something that I haven't done before. It was good to basically take some time away from the city life, right? Being here in New York City, most of what's around you, right, is mostly just buildings. Even though there are some trees and some parks nearby, it's just like I wanted to have like a nice getaway and something like, you know, a trip like that. It's not something like you're not really aside from like gas and tolls and all that stuff, right? It's not really anything that like costs anything, right? Because once you're at the destination, it's just like walking, right? You just got to make sure you're hydrated and have fuel and things like that. Um, but it's something that obviously it connects you with nature. You're more in tune with yourself and the world around you and things like that. So very helpful, very therapeutic. So it was definitely tough, and we were exhausted during points of it because it was like I didn't know it would be 5 miles, but it ended up being a lot of fun. And usually, whenever I go out in like forests or any sort of things like that, like bugs enjoy going after me, right? Like that's always been the trend. But thankfully, like literally with the bug spray, like that thing saved my life because I think I was the only person out of like the dozen of folks like the 12 guys that came. I was probably the only one that bought bug spray. So I was basically, you know, I let everyone use it and whatnot. And I like till this day is almost a week later, like I haven't seen a single like bug bite on my body. So shout out to that bug spray. Held it down. So for me, that was like a big win that I was like super excited about because that usually never happened. So I was already feeling good. We had so much fun. Of course, my legs were literally waist down was sore. Even my back was sore. Everything was sore. Um, on the way back, right, we were coming back down, and my friend tells me he's like, "Yo, let's stop at this other, you know, small town upstate because one of our friends owns like a coffee shop here." So uh basically we were Dominican, like me and my friend, and then apparently the guy that owned the coffee shop was also Dominican. So he was essentially a friend of our fraternity brothers. So still close in the friend group. I didn't really know the guy. I probably met him one time, but like I never really had an opportunity to like get to know him. So it was just my friend and fraternity brother that was driving. Like he just knew him. So he wanted to stop by and obviously support the business. So it was a town I've never been to before, super small town. And we walk in, is a beautiful coffee shop. And the second I walk in, right, the cashier that's behind the counter, he looks at me and he goes like this. So he's wearing a hat and he's literally just pointing at his hat. He's making eye contact with me and pointing at his hat. And I wasn't fully aware because I'm walking in, I'm sort of like looking at the atmosphere of the coffee shop. And I'm just thinking like, yo, this is a super nice coffee shop. Like it's clean. It's really nice. Like this is like a very inviting space that people would want to go to and drink coffee. And I just look around, I just make eye contact with him, and the whole time he's like this, pointing at his hat, and I'm like, what is the guy talking about? And then I see the hat, and it's a basketball hat. It has a Supersonics logo on it. So for those of you who don't follow basketball or just not familiar, Seattle, city of Seattle, in Washington, the state of Washington, they used to have a basketball team known as the Seattle Supersonics. However, about 15 years ago or so, they relocated to Oklahoma City and became the Oklahoma City Thunder. So Seattle currently doesn't have a basketball team. But when I went to that state, well, Seattle City, I went to that city about a year ago, last summer. When I was there, I bought a Seattle Supersonic shirt because I just like basketball is my favorite sport, and I saw the shirt. I'm like, yo, that looks really dope. I've always thought the logo was cool, so let me just buy the shirt. So on the day of the hike, I was wearing that Seattle Supersonic shirt, and I remember when I was picking out my outfit, I stopped at the shirt, and I'm just like, yo, I should wear this shirt because this shirt is nice and it's comfortable, and I like wearing it, so I'm gonna just wear it for the hike. And when you think about it, it's like, what are the chances that two people in upstate New York, right? This is kind of like rural. What I'm talking about, like upstate New York, are gonna be wearing like he had a hat on that had the logo. I had a shirt on there that had the logo, repping the same team for a team that doesn't exist and hasn't existed for over 15 years. in the same coffee shop in the middle of nowhere. Like we're in New York. If anything, you'll most likely see, like, I know New York is diverse, but you'll most likely see people wearing like gear for New York teams. And from time to time you may see like other teams, but it's not really like that common. So like end up being the same basketball team from a team that is on the other side of the country that didn't exist for the last 15 years. Right? Like I just started smiling and laughing because I'm like, yo, like honestly, like what are the chances? And I know most people will label that as just coincidence, but like as I've gotten older, as I've matured, like I've learned that coincidences aren't a thing, that everything is orchestrated perfectly, that everything happens for a reason, right? Like absolutely everything happens for a reason. Even if there may not be an explanation in that given moment for why something happened, like everything happens for a reason because everything is all connected. So I laughed and I started, just like having like small talk with the guy, and the guy was saying that like that hat, like it looked worn. The hat looked worn, like worn out. So I know for a fact like he owned it for like many years, and he tells me he's like, yeah, like this hat belonged to my dad, and he had it like a long time, and he passed on the hat to me. So I'm thinking, whoa, like this hat probably been around for definitely a few years, but probably more than a decade. And I didn't really get to have much more conversation with him, um, because who knows, it could have been that like his dad passed it down as a gift, you know, just being a family member. Like maybe they're not living together, maybe they're just like, separate. Like I didn't really get to ask anything more about like that, but I thought that was interesting because I'm like, what, like stuff like this just does, like it just doesn't happen by accident. Like we're just repping the same team that doesn't exist on the opposite coast, like in a small town where there's barely people like here. So that gave me a good laugh, and I was just smiling about it. And I ended up getting a drink there, a lemonade, and it ended up being a great solid drink. So it just felt like things were working itself and aligning itself out for me to just continue having a good day because I put out that intention of having good energy. And what I mean by that, so when we left that coffee shop, we were going back to New York City because we wanted to get dinner, right? We like barely ate for the day, and we went on a crazy hike. So I kept telling my friend that we both love eating wings, right? I was telling my friend, I'm like, yo, there's a wing spot in my area that has really good wings. Like I've only eaten there once, but like the wings were really good and I want to go back. And I kept telling him about the spot. So he agreed. He was like, all right, let's go. So this is what I'm talking about. By setting the intentions, and more often than not, like the rest of the events and the energy, it'll continue following. So we walk into the spot and we find 2 seats at the bar. And funny enough, when we're at the bar, I see that there's like one of the workers, I guess, one of the servers, he's going around giving out like free appetizers, like free samples. And I'm just like, why is this happening? And then I look behind and I see a poster that says that today was the restaurant's Sweet 16, meaning that it's been 16 years since like the venue opened, right? Like their 16th like birthday of opening. And so the restaurant was giving out, free appetizers to the people that were dining in there, right, to celebrate. And so call it what you want. Like, once again, for me, that's not coincidence. That's not by accident. It's just I've been telling my friend about going to the spot for literally like weeks, if not months, saying like, yo, this spot has like some of the best chicken wings. Like, you got to try it. And he went there and he loved it. That's definitely high on his list. Definitely like a top 3 spot that he's been at as far as wings. So, we had a really good dinner. Like, it was just like such a good ending to such a great day. And so that's what I tell people. I'm like, listen, setting the intention is important because when you're setting the intention, you're essentially creating your day. You're putting out the energy. You're putting out like energy of excitement and positivity and like positive expectancy, right? Where you're optimistic, just like looking forward to what's going to happen next. Like, you'll essentially be led to great events, or things will unfold for you where you're just like, man, like that's not coincidence. That's, and these are like little subtle signs that are showing you like, hey, like, you know, you're on the right track. You're like, we're giving you good things because you're happy, you're excited, and you put out the positive intention of having a great day. And for me, the whole time I was just happy, I was excited, I was just having fun, and that led to just event after event after event where it just felt like things were lining up for us, right? We were literally finding parking both times where we stopped at like the different like the coffee shop and the restaurant. We was also finding parking literally right in front of the venue, right? Like stuff like that where they just seem very minor that like people may not pay attention to, but I do, because it's clear as day that everything is everything around us is all connected. So like I no longer see things as coincidence. Like these things that happen are basically in alignment with the energy that you're putting out, right? Because you're just bringing in what you're putting out. That's why I choose to be happy, not only just with that understanding, but also because I enjoy life. I want to continue having fun, and I want this life to be the most magical experience as possible. So I try to approach every day trying to find ways to be happy. And sometimes you don't even need a reason, right? You don't need a reason to be happy. You can just wake up and be grateful to be alive. Well, in that case, that's a reason. But you get what I'm saying. It's like being happy or being sad or being whatever feeling whatever feeling you want is, and it absolutely 1000% is a choice, and it's up to you to decide how you want it to be. So if you start off the day setting the intention that it's gonna be a good day, that everything's gonna go well for you, that you're lucky, that you're blessed, that miracles happen to you all the time, then that's where you'll begin to see and experience, right? If everything works out for you, that's where you'll begin to see and experience. If you don't believe that to be the case, or you believe the opposite, then at the end of the day, you get what you believe, right? And that's pretty much how it all works. So if you found this video helpful, do leave a like, comment down below any thoughts you may have. Subscribe to this channel, turn on post notifications, and share the video with anyone who you think would benefit from this. I want to keep putting out content for you guys, just because I want to continue spreading joy and sharing stories and moments from my life that can relate to you, or it can serve as learning lessons for you. And obviously, if there's any stories that you guys want to share, I'm definitely interested in hearing. I'm all ears. And also, I would love to talk about different things as well that's was happening in life, like different questions that people have, because we're all here trying to figure things out. And a lot of times we try to do it on our own when there's information out there, when there's examples from other people, like real examples of how they're living their lives and how blessings are unfolding for them and things like that. And all we need to do sometimes is just learn from those people that are happy and living life joyful, and that can move us closer to living our life blissfully happy, because that's, at the end of the day, that's why we're here. That's our goal, to just be happy, nothing else. So I pretty much summed up the video. Just make sure, hopefully there's one thing you take away from the video. Just make sure you set the intention that the day is going to be a great day. And I promise you, everything's going to work itself out, and everything's just going to be great, and it's going to be better than you could have ever imagined. So if you set that intention every single day, then I think you'll be all right with living a happy life. So once again, it's Joel. I'll see you guys next time.